Hey guys, it's Mr. Clegg. I'm going to be teaching you today how to graph with Google Sheets. And so I copied some data here from a video from Bozeman Science. Thanks for that. And here's my fertilizer in grams. That's massive fertilizer in grams. Um, and you have a bunch of numbers here. And then each plant that I measured, how high it grew, the plant growth would be in centimeters. And so that's been measured here. And now I'm going to pause, or you need to pause the video so that you can copy down all these numbers. Okay. Make sure to get the header cells here correct, because those will end up being the headers in your graph as well. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, so I hope you've double checked this and made sure everything is exactly the same. And now we're going to create a graph, and it is quite easy and quick to create it, but it takes a moment to also customize it. So you need to make sure to get all the details. All right, so now first thing you're gonna do is click on the cell here, and you're gonna drag across all these cells. If you're having a hard time with your mouse, you can also just click there and hold shift down, hold down the shift and use the arrow keys to go over and then down and highlight all those cells. So either you can do it with the mouse by click and drag, or you can use shift and arrows. And then you go to insert, and then you're going to go down and choose chart. Insert chart, that's it. And then a chart appears. The other thing that happens here is your chart editor menu opens up. Now I want you to drag this chart over to the right a little bit so that it doesn't cover up the data anymore. So we can still see the data and we can see the chart. So we drag that over. And now we're going to do some customizing. So it automatically selected scatter chart, which is great. So here under chart editor and setup, it automatically chose scatter chart, which is exactly what I want. If it hadn't though, sometimes it guesses wrong. So what you want to do is just straight up under setup, the very top thing is scatter chart, is the type of chart. So what if it had done this? That wouldn't make any sense for us. Sometimes it guesses wrong and gives us ridiculous looking things. So we want to scroll all the way down, down, down to where it says scatter and choose that, okay? If that happens. And then we're going to switch over to customize. Now, when I make charts in Google Sheets, I don't always remember where everything is that I need. So sometimes I just have to look around until I find what I need in here. So one of the things we have to do is we have to change the axes to make sense. Well, in this case, the axes have exactly what I need. I have the independent variable, plant growth in centimeters, and that's labeled. So it actually copied this text here and put it on there. So that's really helpful. So I don't actually have to change that. And fertilizer in grams is over here. Now what I might do is actually just, I might change that to say mass of fertilizer in grams. So if I click this, it brings me to the right menu over here. It's under chart and axis titles, and you can actually start to type in here. So what if I just wanted to say mass of fertilizer? I don't know, or amount. Let's see. Amount of fertilizer, that might even be better. Okay, so I can change it that way. Got my axes. The units are in the parentheses. So we have the quantity, plant growth, and then the units are going to be in parentheses. Again, units are in parentheses. The quantity is not. And then here at the top, I want my title. I can click that, and it will take me over here to the right place. If you wanted to navigate that by hand, you go customize chart and axis title, and there's a drop down. So you can do chart title, subtitle if you want. Usually we don't need that. And then you can do the horizontal axis title, vertical axis title, and so on. So let's do the chart title, or again, you can click here. You might even be able to type directly here. Oh yeah, look at that. You can type directly here. So I'm gonna actually type, it's the same thing if you type it here or here. Plant growth at related to amount of fertilizer. So that's a nice chart title. Okay, so now we have a lot of data here. It looks like these kind of look like a straight line over here, but now up at the top end, it looks like it's curving. So it looks like a curve. So we want to add what we call a best fit curve. Now, Google doesn't call it a best fit curve. They call it a trend line. So we're going to close that one and go down to the next one, series. And again, like I said, sometimes I have to look around till I find what I need. I happen to remember that this is here. And we're going to click on trend line, and it will put a trend line in. The default is that it puts a straight line, which is called linear. I don't think that fits the data very well. So we're going to change that. And so we have a bunch of different options here. We have linear, we have exponential, polynomial, logarithmic, power series, moving average. We're not going to use most of those. The only ones that we're going to use in this class, I think, are linear and polynomial. We might do power series once or twice, I can't remember. But basically, linear would be straight line. Polynomial would be quadratic or cubic, and so on. So if we choose polynomial in degree 2, that means quadratic. Quadratic means x is squared. So there we have a curve that looks like it fits a little bit better. And then we can even go here to show R-squared. Now the R-squared value shows us how closely it matches our data. So we could actually go, all right, R-squared, let's see how close of a fit that is. So 0.993. If R-squared were 1, it would be a perfect fit. That would be 100% fit to the data. It doesn't fit perfectly because all these data aren't, they don't all line up. Here's a couple of different ones for the same value of 6 grams. So let's take a look here. Over here we had 6 grams and 65. Okay, it looks like that. 6 grams and 65. And then here we had 6 grams and 59. So two different amounts of plant growth for the same amount of fertilizer. So they're not they don't perfectly line up. This is kind of like real life. You make measurements and they don't always perfectly line up. So that's why our R-squared is not equal to 1. Uh-oh, what happened to our customized chart? We're going to have to get that back. And so we have to hit the 3 dots here. And then we're going to go to edit chart. And there our menu comes back. So I'm going to go customize down to series. And so we did trend line, that's checked. We chose polynomial degree 2, and then I clicked show R-squared so I can see how close it is. You could try polynomial degree 3. Look at that, that's even better. Okay, so now we have polynomial degree 3, that's slightly better, so 0.995. A little bit better R-squared value means a little bit better fit to the data. So either one of those is fine, 2 or 3. They're both pretty close. Let's look at 2 again, 993. Now we could leave it on that. Actually, 3 gives us a better R-squared value, so let's leave it there. And then the other thing is we want to get the equation for our trend line. That's really important to be able to see that. And so we're going to go to legend. And then, is it legend? Now I forget. Nope, it's not legend. Let me see here. Data labels. No, we don't want data labels. Now I forgot where this is. Oh, it's label. Here we go. They make this really hard to find. If you want the equation, it's here right above where it says show R-squared. There's a menu that says label, and you choose use equation. So once again, whoops. Here, I'll uncheck the R-squared for a second just so you can see this. So instead of saying trend line for plant growth, that's not very helpful. We know what that is. We want the equation. So we're going to choose use equation under label. And now we have this crazy looking thing. And that is the equation. I'm going to actually choose, just because it's a little simpler, I'm going to leave it on polynomial of degree 3. And so what this means is that the equation is y equals negative 0.423 x squared plus 14.1 x minus 8.3 Okay, so that's y equals, and then this is the equation of this curve. And now when I do the r squared, it runs those together, which is kind of a drag because that's not actually part of the equation. That's a completely separate thing. The equation is y equals and then all this stuff. And then r squared is a separate thing. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. And make sure to ask me any questions you might have. Good luck.